Hello booktube. So today is the start of Borrowathon, and I've seen some people do vlogs before while readathons are going on, and I figured I might give it a go. We'll see. So it's like 12:20 West Coast time, start of the Borrowathon, and the first thing I'm going to be reading is Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Really excited. I'm gonna get started, read for an hour or two, and see how I get on. Alrighty, so it is just after midnight on the first day of Borrowathon, and currently I am on page 378 of Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Oh my god, this book is so good. Like, obviously, I've almost read this in a day, which I don't know if I've mentioned this, but I'm actually a really slow reader, so that's kind of amazing. But I have just been unable to put this down. I'm definitely going to be doing a full review of this book sometime, and it might actually already be up, so if it is, I will leave a link to it. And then since that's almost done, and since that was kind of like a really intense book to read, just like the speed and the story and everything, I'm gonna take it a little easy tomorrow on day 2. I'm gonna start reading Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops. So far this readathon is going really well. Hey booktube, so sorry about the light. This is day 2 of Borrowathon, and I'm about to run into a bookstore because I finished reading Uprooted last night, which was my Try Before You Read challenge book, and I freaking fell in love with it. And of course now I automatically just had to go out and buy it because, like, it was that good. Oh man, I mean, if you watch my channel at all, you'll know that book hauls are kind of infrequent and pretty small. I really try not to buy too many books, but this thing was too good. And I'm gonna have to return it to the library, obviously, because I have to pick up a few more things, and I have this whole thing about returning a book before I check out another book. So I have to return it, and I can't just not own it because there's parts of it I already want to reread. So I'm gonna zip into this little local bookstore and hope that they have it. Okay, it's about 9 o'clock at night on day 3 of Borrowathon, and I wanted to do a quick check-in, let you know how my attempted shopping trip went, which was terrible. I went to 2 different local indie bookstores, and neither of them had Uprooted. Well, one of them had like a hardcover copy of Uprooted, but I kind of feel like if I'm gonna actually buy a new copy, I really want it to be in an edition that I want, because I'm specifically buying this book because I know that I'm going to want to read it multiple times, and I don't really like reading hardcovers. I really like reading trade paperbacks, so I didn't buy it, and I'm still on the lookout. But after that, unfortunately, fruitless effort, I did finish a couple of challenges for Borrowathon. So we're, like I said, 9 o'clock at night, day 3. I finished reading Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, which counted for a new to me author. Also my favorite cover on the book. I love shades of blue. After that, I finished the graphic novel challenge. So I read Saga Volume 3, which was good. It's not my favorite volume that I've read so far. And then I read Volume 4. So the next thing I'm going to read probably tonight before midnight is Volume 5. And I just requested Volume 6. And I don't know if from the library, and hopefully I'll get that before the end of Borrowathon. I could just, tack it on to my total page count or whatever, but we'll see if that happens. With all of that read, I'm doing, I think, really well for covering kind of like all the challenges, and it's only day 3 and I have like 5 more days to go. So this is day 5? No, this is day 6 of the Borrowathon. I've been really bad about making these little daily check-ins, but here I am, day 6. I took day 4 off. Yeah, I think I took day 4 off from reading anything because I had a massive reading hangover after marathoning 6 issues of Saga. So that was really good, and I'm actually really glad I did it because I feel really refreshed now. So yesterday I got back to reading. I started off with trying to read The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. This was for the book that's been recommended to you in challenge. I did 2 little short reading sessions, and I got about 44 pages into it. It's not bad. I think it's interesting. It was just really slow going. I wasn't really gripped, and the writing was just not something I couldn't really get into it. I really couldn't get a good reading pace going. So I set it aside, and I had another book from the library that I need to read, which is A Dark Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. So I have to read this so that I can read A Gathering of Shadows for the BookTube SMF Awards TBR that I'm doing. And I told myself, okay, I'm just gonna read one chapter of this, see how it goes. I read a chapter, thought it was pretty interesting, and it went by really quickly. So I was like, okay. I always read in like timed segments, either 30 minutes or 60 minutes, just because I have a really short attention span and I'm really easily distracted. But so I like to block off specific amounts of time to read. That way I stay focused. So I decided to do like a little 30-minute reading session for this and just see how it went. And it went really well, and I like flew through quite a bit of the novel. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and finish this because it's really interesting, and it caught my attention and I felt like reading it. Because honestly, this book is much closer to like Six of Crows, Crooked Kingdom, which I just finished and really loved. So yeah. I'm just over 200 pages into this. So I'm just over at the halfway mark, and I haven't actually even spent that much time reading it. So it's a very quick read. And I mean, this also counts for the book that's been recommended to me too, because this trilogy is like all over BookTube. I will probably try to give the 5th season another go. I highly doubt I'm gonna have that done by the end of the readathon, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah. So it is day 7 of Borrowathon, last day of Borrowathon, and I've been pretty bad about everything. Like, I started out really, really strong, and I have read a lot of stuff, so it's not totally terrible. I didn't vlog yesterday just because I didn't really do a whole lot of reading yesterday. I did finish A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I'm going to be reading the second one of these for the BookTube SFF Award, so I'll do a like dual review of this book and the second book. After I finish reading the second book, I'm waiting for it to come into at my library. It was good. You know, I think I mentioned on day 4 or 5 of the readathon that this was a really, really quick read, and the ending was definitely easy to zip through. Characters were fine. I definitely wasn't... This really, really, really strongly reminds me of Six of Crows, and I won't lie, I liked Six of Crows better. I was just way more invested in it. I like the characters more, so... But, I mean, it was good. It was fun. I would definitely, recommend this to people. I did have Descender Volume 1 checked out from the library because, again, I need to read this one and then Descender Volume 2 for the BookTube SFF Award. So I had this one, and it's due back at the library in a couple of days. So I was like, well, I'll just go ahead and read that. And this was really good. Again, the ending left so many questions open, and I cannot get my hands on Descender 2. I'm going to have to go around to a couple of actual comic book stores to look for it because my library does not have it. And I really want to know what happens. It's really just gorgeous. I don't know how well this is coming across on camera, but it's like, it's all very watercolors, the art style, and a kind of muted palette overall, but with really strong pops of red and blue, and it's beautiful, and the story is really interesting. Again, like I said, the end, so many questions. I started another book, again from the library, though this one was from Overdrive, and that is Nine Fox Gambit by Yoon Ha Lee. I'm about 6 or 7% into that, so I'm definitely not going to finish it by midnight tonight, but yeah, I'll read a little bit more and then I'll do a whole wrap up of everything I've read. Alright, so Borrowathon is officially over. Technically it ended, last night, but I wanted to recap everything that I read and how it went. Overall, it went really well. I read 7 total book/graphic novels, and I started 2 other novels. I read a total of 1,916 pages. And I pretty much completed all of the challenges. I didn't read everything on my TBR. I missed 1 book, but I also added a couple things, I read a couple extra things. So I figure, that balances out. So first off, I read Uprooted by Naomi Novik, which I selected for the Try Before You Buy challenge, and then I ended up counting it towards the Takes Place in a Library challenge because a fairly significant part of that book takes place in 2 different libraries. Now they are technically fantasy medieval libraries, but I'm gonna count it anyways because I did not have a book for that challenge. Now, I've done a full review / reaction video to Uprooted, which I really love. I gave it 5 stars, and I will try to link that in like the cards and down below if you're interested in checking it out. Suffice it to say, freaking love the book. Then the next thing I read was for the new author / favorite color on the cover. And I mean, technically, I would say about half the books I read during Borrowathon were new authors, but I specifically, on my TBR, said I was going to read Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops by Jen Campbell, which I did. So I'd never read any of Jen Campbell's books before, and then also I really just love shades of blue, so this counted for both challenges. This was a really good little, I don't want to say palette cleanser, but it's kind of like a really good in-between book. I actually read this, and I read another book that was not for Borrowathon. It was a book that I owned. I had started prior to Borrowathon, and I read that plus this kind of consecutively. And again, I gave this 5 stars. It was really cute, really fun. I would definitely recommend this. I mean, like, it's just a book of quotes. Can we focus? It's just a book of quotes and illustrations, but it's really funny. It's really cute. And it's one of those, I think it would make a really good like coffee table book for book lovers. And then after that, I decided to go on a bit of a graphic novel binge. So I started with Saga volumes 3, 4, and 5. I gave each of these 4 stars. I didn't love them as much as volumes 1 and 2, but they were still really good. They progressed the story in intriguing ways. I'm gonna go run and pick up volume 6 after I finish recording this so that I can read it for the BookTube SF Awards TBR I'm doing. And then after that, I read another graphic novel, and that is Descender volume 1, which I talked about, I think, in my last check-in, because I just finished reading it. And then, so I was supposed to read the 5th season, and I did start it. I got almost to page 50, but I did not get any further than that. And instead, I picked up A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab. I liked it. I think I sounded really lukewarm in my last check-in about this, but I mean, I gave it 4 stars, and I quite enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to reading the second one. And this counted for books that's been a recommended book, because I mean, I think everything that I've read, except technically Weird Things Customers Say in Bookshops, but like everything else that I've read has definitely been recommended in one or more booktubers videos. Like, these are all pretty popular on BookTube, so that's what I decided to count this book for. And then that was everything that I finished, but I also started Nine Fox Gambit by Yoon Ha Lee, which technically counts for like a book that's been recommended to me, and also favorite color on the cover, which you can see here. It's a really gorgeous cover, and I started that. I think I got to about 31% because I'm reading it digitally. I checked it out from Overdrive. I got about 31% by the time everything was by midnight last night. And then I kept reading it. I'm very close to halfway through it, and I'm really liking it. But I'll have a whole review of that book up, hopefully in the next like week and a half, because I'm going to be trying to review everything that I've read for the BookTube SF Awards, and that's one of the nominated books. So that was my Borrowathon. I don't know if I'm going to do another one of these vlogs. It's really hard for me to like remember to vlog daily, to do check-ins. I don't know. And I'm not like the fastest reader, so I don't like to check in and be like, yeah, I'm 30% done with this, and then I'm 60% done with it the next day, you know? I don't know. But yeah, it was an interesting experience. I think the other thing is that I always read at home. I don't tend to go out and read, so it's kind of like boring. Like, it's always the same setup, you know, same shots. If you participate in Borrowathon, let me know how you did down in the comments below. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.